welcome back to another race vlog. Today is Saturday the 15th of July and I've just arrived in Nottingham for the National Athletics League. I'm racing a 5k today, but not till 4 o'clock, so I've probably got about 6 hours until my race. But this is the track here in Nottingham. Looks very nice. It's a very windy day. Weather warnings in place for parts of the UK, so yeah, get the excuses in early. Apologies if the audio is a little bit windy, but yeah, I think I'm just going to put my bags down, find where we're going to be based, and then I'm going to try and find a local coffee shop because I've got a bit of editing to catch up on and I don't fancy sitting around for 6 hours before my race, so yeah, it should be good. This is a good start to the meet. It's absolutely chucking it down, people running for cover. So in a turn of events, got my spikes on early for a bit of long jump, so I'm going to hand the camera over to Lukey boy. He's going to be on camera duties and we're going to do a bit of Benny's jumping, purely for the content.
What a knob. Excuse me, are you Benny's jumping?
James, you want to... Right? What am I doing?
What's your distance prediction?
I reckon I'm going to clear the pit, mate, on the first jump.
As you jump, just open your vest.
Yeah.
Like a squirrel.
Fly. The wind is mad.
Yes.
How did it look? Did it look terrible?
I think the technique was alright, you just didn't look like you were flying that much. You're quite static.
I just wanted to get one on the board, you know, just to put the pressure on my competitors.
What did you jump?
Now I'm going to ramp it up. 474, I think.
PB?
PB, big PB. So I made my long jump debut. I think I jumped something like 484, so nothing impressive at all, to be honest with you, but what can you expect from a distance runner? But Luke's just about to do his 1500 meters, so I'm heading around to the start of that race, and then after that I'm going to get warmed up and get ready for my main event, which is the 5k today. But there's some quick guys in my race. I haven't had a look at the field. I like to just go into it and not know who I'm racing, but one of the other guys said there's a couple of 14-30 guys, so it'll definitely be a good race, but the conditions today are not looking favourable. It's very, very windy, so yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Obviously it's the same for everyone, so we'll see how we get on, but I just want to be as competitive as I can for as long as I can. That is the goal of today's race. So here we go, here's Luke's race in the wind. Conditions are really bad at the moment, so they're off. Hope he has a good race. We've also got Joe Perry from Chelmsford in this one, who's in really good form at the moment, so I'm hoping he does well. So look out for another yellow vest. Here they come now. Where's Joe? There he is, slightly towards the back. In fact, second last. Come on, Joe! Luke even! Fucking hell, Ben. Get the name right. Must be so windy out there, they probably don't want to go too fast. But he's doing alright, second last at the moment, but he needs to start moving up if he's going to be involved in this race, otherwise it's going to run away from him. Just spotted another familiar face in there, Alfie Manthorpe's in there. Come on Alfie, let's go Joe! Come on Luke, that's it now, start moving up, good lad! Let's go Chelmsford, come on! There goes Perry. Come on Luke, stay with him! There you go, through the bell. Alfie's leading, Joe's still there. Come on Luke, you're still in this mate, let's go! Big last lap! He's crushing it, come on Luke. Alfie, third for Alfie. Great run for Joe, good stuff. Here comes Luke. Come on Luke, get him on the line! Unlucky. Well done Joe. Good job Luke. So I'm just out for the warm-up, joined by Scott, he's the B-string for Chelmsford. How are you feeling today?
Alright, I'm thinking it's quite windy, so I'm hoping there's someone to sit in.
Yeah.
Fine for a lot of it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we just watched the 1500 metres and that was a very tactical race, like everyone sort of sat in on each other. Basically the home straight is straight into a -10 headwind or something like that. So basically running into a brick wall, so that's going to be fun. So times are sort of out of the window and we're just going to try and score as many points for the club. That's my plan anyway.
You okay, mate?
Yeah, not bad. A bit of a shit one though, wasn't it? Not the best, but just didn't have the fire today. I don't know what it was. Like at 3k, my head wasn't there. It wasn't physically like I didn't have any cramp or legs heavy. It just didn't want it, which is not the best thing, is it? But I need to get the fire back. I think a couple more races under my belt. I'm sure it'll come back. But yeah, I think I ran 15:39, so nearly a minute off my PB, which is a bit shocking. But yeah, never mind. It's one of those.
Tactical affair.
Yeah, progress isn't linear. Got to remember that. But yeah, good to get one under my belt. But not the result I was hoping for, to be honest. But
on to the next.
Never mind. Yeah, on to the next. So it's a couple days later after the race. I've had a few days to process how things went. And as you probably heard there in the video, I was pretty disappointed with my performance. I think the hardest thing for me was I felt really good during the race. The first 3k were fairly comfortable. I was in control, and then that move went at 2k, and for whatever reason, in that split-second decision, I just chose not to go with it. I think it was more like a mental barrier to sort of overcome. It was less that I couldn't go with it and more that I just chose not to, which yeah, was a tough one. I feel like I didn't show up for myself. I didn't show up for my team, Chelmsford. I could have scored a lot of more points than I did. I probably could have ended up competing for 4th, 5th place on a better day, but instead I just let the race run away from me, and I ended up coming 10th, running 15:39. So yeah, it was a tough one. I've got a few little notes that I've written down in my phone. This is a good little top tip that I do after I have a bad race or a bad session. Rather than dwell over it in my head over and over again and get yourself down, I like to write it down. So these are the reflections I wrote on the way back from the event on the minibus, just to get it all out there, and I find then I can move on, turn over the next page, that sort of thing. So I've got here, reflections on today. I was disappointed that I didn't turn up for myself. I've trained harder than I raced today, and that sucks. So I just felt, for whatever reason, when it came to the hard, pushing part of the race, I just didn't give myself the chance today, which, yeah, was a shame. I've trained really hard over the last few weeks. I've been doing some really, really good sessions, and I think I'm in PB shape. Obviously, that's going to knock the confidence a little bit, but the way my training's been going, I've been doing sessions that I've not been able to do in a long, long time. So I feel like the 5k speed is there. I've also put track races are very different to road races, and they don't always play to my strengths as a runner. So that race in particular started off very slow, and then all of a sudden it went from being a pedestrian pace to being faster than I feel comfortable running, and I just think I'm not quite used to that as a runner. I'm more a person that likes to go out at a pace and try and maintain that to the finish. So that's going to take a little bit more getting used to, but as I do more track races, hopefully I will get better at that. I've also said any change in pace during a 5k mentally completely throws me off. So as a sort of marathon runner, a longer distance runner, I'm very used to sticking to pace. So when that pace suddenly changes, it almost gives me a little bit of anxiety within the race. And I think that's what it was during that 5k, is when the pace changed, I immediately felt a little bit of anxiety. I was like, oh, what's going on? And in that split second, I just didn't push. Obviously, if I went back there now, as soon as that pace increase went, I would have pushed. And if I'd have blown up in the later stages of the race, then that's absolutely fine. But I ended up crossing the line and I was hardly out of breath. So yeah, tough one. I also said I wish I'd run my own race. So at the very start of the race, I found myself at the front. And instead of sort of pushing on at my usual 5k pace, so around 2:58 per kilometre, which I think I would have been comfortable at maintaining till the end, we settled into around 3:05 to 3:10 pace, which is my half marathon pace. Very, very slow for a 5k, and I wish in hindsight I'd have just been like, I'm going to go for it. If everyone wants to just follow me and then kick past me at the end, then so be it. But at least I would give myself a chance of being up there. Finally, I need to approach my track races differently. So I need to run as hard as I can from the gun, and the result will look after itself. I think I got caught up a little bit too much in the what's the word? Caught up in the magnitude of the race, if you know what I mean. There were some runners there that were a lot better than me on paper. I know that I can compete with those guys, but I think in my head I'd sort of played it down that I could compete, and as a result mentally didn't. So yeah, I've got to go into those races knowing that I can compete and be confident in myself, and if I'm not confident, then that is going to be the result that I saw today. So yeah, it was a tough one to take, but hopefully you can take something from this. Not all races are linear. I've been on a real high recently with different events, traveling the world, running some PBs over the 5k and marathon distance in the last few months. So yeah, to have a short one, for lack of a better word, will be a good lesson for future races. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that one. I've got some races coming up, so hopefully I can have a little bit of a redemption story and run a lot closer to where I think I'm capable at this point in the season. But thanks for all the support as always, and aspire to run to inspire, and I'll be back soon.